All right, I just picked up all the IVF medicine. Ken hasn't seen it yet, so I'm gonna unbox it. I don't really know what is where. Do you want to see this receipt for $2,200?
Nothing.
I think this is the prenatal. Did y'all know there's such a thing as a prescription prenatal? I didn't know that. Wow. Maybe this one's just yours. Yeah, that one's just yours. I think this is like all the supplies and whatnot. Apparently a ton of stuff. Oh. Alright, we got the Menopure. Got the Home Sharps container for insulin syringes, pen needles.
Nice.
This bag is empty, so that's like slightly concerning. This is my antibiotic. This is the alcohol wipes. These are all the needles. I have a feeling something's wrong. And this is the Gonal F. I don't know what any of this is. Why didn't someone tell me while I was there, like, what they're giving me? Okay, I think I've figured it out. So here's the couple boxes of prescription prenatals that I got. This was like optional. This is not like required part, but I didn't even know honestly that there was prescription prenatals. So I decided to start taking those. This is 2 packs of just like the antibiotic that Ken and I actually both have to take. And then these are just like the alcohol swabs that you use before you obviously do the injections. This whole bag is all the different syringes and stuff for the Lupron, which the Lupron is right there in that like little clear glass vial. And then there's the Ovidrel, and then these boxes are all the Gonal F. There's like a bajillion of those. And then over here we have the Menopure and the different syringes for the Menopure, and then the like syringe pen needle disposable container, and I think that's everything. So yeah, it was a ton of stuff. Pretty expensive. And it's a little confusing too, because like, there's all these random things in all these random bags, and I like had no idea what went with what, so I just called the pharmacy to clarify. I was like, so this is, I'm supposed to take that Lupron 2 times a day for 14 days, and there's like a tablespoon of liquid in there. I'm like, this does not look like enough. But apparently it is. All right, it's
your plan for the TCC to like
what?
To release like a multi-series,
something like that. Like, I've been filming it for like 2 years at this point, so there'll be some kind of like, I don't know how I'm gonna break it up, but there'll have to be some kind of like our journey series kind of thing. So here's our little like basket with my prenatal, the alcohol swabs, all the different syringes, the antibiotic, the Menopure. I have my supplements there, and then this is the little disposal thing. This is the night before our first injection. In the morning, Ken will come down, basically just grab all this stuff and the Lupron, which is in the fridge, and that's what we'll start with in the morning. I feel like he's a little bit more nervous than I am. I mean, I'm not good with shots, but these seem like they're gonna be fairly low maintenance and like fairly, you know, minimally invasive. So I'm really not that freaked out. The only thing is we have to do these injections at like a certain time every day. So this has to be injected before 7 a.m. and obviously we have to get it out of the fridge, let it warm up a tiny bit, get everything like ready, hook up the needle, obviously all that stuff. And typically I don't even wake up till around 7. So now we have to wake up way before 7 to have everything like ready to go. So for the next couple weeks, we're gonna be waking up pretty early. Oh no, babe, we started the Gonal F on Friday, not Monday. So there's only 2 days of just Lupron. So we'll have a little bit of like, because Ken was like worried there's gonna be a day where I get like 4 shots in one day. That starts on Monday. So we have 2 days of just 1 shot in the morning, 1 shot at night, and then 3 days of 1 shot in the morning, 2 at night, and then like 5 days of 1 in the morning, 3 at night, and then the trigger shot whenever that time comes. So he's just like happy that we just have like a couple days to just start with 1, and like it's nice that we can kind of build up, like just do 1 for a couple days and then just do 2 and then roll into 3 and like get a little bit more used to it, because it's a little bit of gonna be a learning curve for sure. So we also have like all the paperwork that they gave us. They gave us like a whole bunch of sheets, so we're gonna bring that with us as well. Should be interesting. All right, got the setup. He's taking an Instagram picture and getting it ready. Oh goodness. We woke up at 6. It's now, oh wait, don't get the camera in it. So wait a second. It's like this isn't even on, it's 6:15. I know, that's why I don't think these directions make sense. It says there's a blue cap that you clean and then a rubber stopper. He's got the alcohol swabs, he's got all the things, looking cute in his robe. And just like that, we're done. It was actually pretty easy. He was like a little bit nervous, like putting the medication in. He was like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right amount? Do I have any air in it? But it was fine. And I'm probably sure I mentioned it a bajillion times, I have a pretty serious needle phobia, but I don't want to have one, obviously, and I'm trying to get over that. So I feel like IVF is the perfect thing to help me get over that. So I just watched it happen. I watched them put it in, watched them hold it there. And it's, I mean, it's a baby needle. It's like very, very short and very, very thin. So it was no big deal, it didn't hurt. But now I'm just holding this. Thank you. I'm just holding the alcohol wipe on it and we're gonna go back to bed. IVF day 2, and yes, I'm wearing the same bra from yesterday. I just slept in it. I need to shower and my hair situation is a little bit ridiculous, but I'm alcohol swabbing. Ken's doing his Lupron thing. We are getting accustomed to waking up at 6 a.m. What do you call it? Bells on and bushy tailed? What is it? No, bright eyed and bushy tailed. We're waking up with your bells on.
Alright, I got 20.
You got 20? I kind of like the smell of alcohol wipes. Is that weird? You hear him flicking the... Looking like a Dr. AF. Alright. What'd you say?
I said this never feels normal.
What doesn't feel normal?
Injecting me.
Oh. Alright, it is injection day number 2. I think I filmed this morning, but I don't think I filmed the last night. I don't think I'm gonna like film every single day. I just realized I didn't film a clip at all last night. So this is injection number 4, day number 2. You're acting like this will never feel normal when you're only on day 2. I'm sure by day like 13, it will probably feel pretty dang normal. So, but it's going great so far. Ken's a pro. I literally could do this in my sleep. Actually, I think I literally could do this in my sleep. Like if I was sleeping, you could just boop. Yeah. I wouldn't even notice all these alcohol.
You could just not even have to wake up.
Yeah, seriously.
Alright, 20.
Alright, Ken's over here with the Gonal F. Dialing the dose. It is day 3. We've done Lupron twice already today, so no big deal. But this is the first day of Gonal Fs, which technically means it's the first day of a stimulation. Technically, even though we've been doing shots for a few days. So, and this one has to go in 90 degrees. So he has to like go behind me and like literally stab me.
I did have a bead in here. I do see a tiny little bit of air there, but it doesn't matter.
What did it say to do if there's a bead?
That's what you want. You want a bead.
Okay, then good.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're sure it's at 300?
It's at 300.
Okay.
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 Where did you wipe?
I'll wipe again.
You just lean forward into the needle.
It's not gonna stab me.
I literally could have just stabbed you in the mouth.
But it's a tiny needle. Oh, in the mouth.
Alright.
Don't like do it like that.
I won't, babe. Alright. I'm 90 degrees. Alright, ready, set.
Nice. You say 0?
Yep.
Okay, good. Success. We have to vlog because we have to do an update to tell how Ken had an emotional breakdown.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-mm.
It was pretty cute. So when we were doing the Lupron, he's a pro at now, but when we were doing the Gonal F, like pretty much right after the Lupron, we had only like less than half. Oh, why are you doing that? We had only like half of the Gonal F pen left, and he was like, oh, this is gonna suck because we have to use like half of this one and then half of another one. Stop blocking. And so he's like, oh, you gotta get like a second of the second one, so 3 total needles. So where are you going? Oh, you don't want to be part of the story?
No.
So he did the first Gonal F, and then we had to do a portion of the second pen, and he like did it in, so it was my third or my second, no. Yeah, my 3rd injection of the night, like in the same, 15 minutes. And then I'm like, it doesn't look like you got all of it out. And he pulls it out and it still shows that there's 25 more like units in the pen. So he has to stab me again for a 4th time to get the rest of it in. And also because it's a pen and you have to like push down on the lid, he's kind of like continuing to push into me as he's pushing down on it. So like, not only is the needle in me, but it's like the like plastic part at the top of the needle is like pushing into me, so it's like I'm like really getting stabbed. You know, my stomach's like going in from how much he's pushing me. Like it feels like the needle's just going more and more in me. And I know it's like super hard for, not like super hard, but it's not like an easy thing to do, especially if you're not like a medical professional. You're not used to giving anyone injections. It's only been like 3 or 4 days or whatever at this point, and only the second day of the gonal F. So obviously he doesn't have a lot of experience with like any of this stuff, and he still is a little bit kind of nervous when he does it. But he's gotten really good at it. He's kind of a pro, but I guess he just got kind of upset that he messed it up, and like obviously he didn't mean to mess it up, but he did, and he just got so upset with himself. He just started crying, and like at first he was just like tearing, and I was like not sure like what was going on, but then he like started like getting really upset and like getting worked up and crying, and I was like, what the heck is wrong? He's like, I'm just upset that I messed it up. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like you're just like frustrated that you got it wrong? And then he was like, no, like I just like am upset that I had to like stab you like 4 times, and one of them was because like I messed up. He's like, it doesn't really happen like very frequently that like any mistake I make could like physically hurt you, but like this is kind of all, you know, my responsibility to get this right, and if I don't, you have to get another needle shoved in you. And like I guess that bothers him or upsets him, or you know, whatever. He doesn't like that he has to, you know, I have to basically endure that again just because he made a mistake. But I wasn't even upset or mad like when he didn't get it all in and had to put more in. I was like, oh yeah, just put the rest in. Like I'm a good sport about it, and it doesn't bother me. No. Do you want to
no.
weigh in?
Nope.
You don't want to say anything?
No, you nailed it.
You heard?
Yeah.
You feel better now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you were upset?
Yes, I was.
Just because like you felt bad for me or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was really sweet that like he was just, and he kept like, he couldn't really collect himself. Like he was like a little bit crying, and then like really crying, and then a little bit crying, and then really crying. And he's like, this is his words, he's like, I'm too emotional. Like he, for some reason, is just really emotional in this process, like more so than I am. Like it didn't even bother me that he had to give me another shot or anything. Like I didn't even say anything when he messed it up. I was like, okay. Like I wasn't upset with him or frustrated or anything, and he was emotional about it. And I guess it's like a totally different perspective, because like, yeah, I guess it sucks for me. I got 4 needles in my stomach, but I guess kind of the pressure of having to like get all the medication right and, I don't know, stab like the person that you love. I guess that's kind of like a weird position to be in, and it can definitely be kind of a high pressure situation, especially when you don't have any experience in this department.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it took a little while to collect himself. We like started eating some Cheesecake Factory cheesecake. He was just like kept crying. It was kind of adorable. I was like, oh wow, you really do love me. That like that kind of situation just like upsets you. He just like doesn't want to physically hurt me. He doesn't care about emotionally hurting me. He just don't want to physically hurt me. But you can hurt my feelings all day long.
That's right.
So anyway, I just really wanted to like kind of document. I sort of wish we had been filming, not that he would have like cried on camera per se, but it was like kind of a cute moment to document, because we're still newbies at this gonal F stuff, and it's only the 2nd day. But he's just an emotional dude right now. Like you're not even the one getting hormones injected into you. It's like a phantom. Is that what they call it? When like you experience it on like behalf of the other person? No, yeah, it's like a phantom pregnancy, like when you get pregnancy symptoms and stuff, like it's like that, but it's like a phantom IVF, yeah. A phantom stimulation or something. But so anyway, it was really adorable, and I wanted to document it. But yeah, now we are successfully done with stimulation day 2. Okay, we have IVF new update situation. So of course I'm still doing my Lupron, and I'm still doing my gonal F. I got blood work done at 7 o'clock this morning, and we reduced my gonal F in half actually. So today Ken and I both start the Z-Pak antibiotic for the next 5 days. That's new. And then I'm still taking, of course, the Lupron and the gonal F like I just said, and we're adding in the Menopur today, which is a little intimidating. So this is that, of course, and we have, this just has like a ton, oh, I got new placemats today. This is a ton of different like mixing, matching vials and all kinds of different needles and syringes. It's just kind of a science project over here. And like this is so involved. There's literally like a folder on how to do this. It's a lot of steps. So thankfully Ken is like taking the lead on this, because I don't think I could handle this kind of situation. Look at him over there. He's a professional at this point. You feel pretty confident in your skills, honey?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So at this point, I'm getting 1 shot in the morning, and starting today, I'm getting 3 shots at night, which is a little bit crazy, plus taking my, obviously, prenatal and taking the Z-Pack. So we're basically at like full like capacity, like full load now. Like it started off with just 1 shot, well 2 technically, but 1 type of medicine twice a day, and then it went to 2 types of medicine 3 times a day, and then now we're at 4 types of medicine 4 times a day, and then technically I'll have my Avidrel trigger shot, so that'll be like a 4th injectionable medicine. So yeah, it's getting real. And I don't even remember what stimulation day it is. It's stimulation day 6, I think, something like that. But unfortunately, the Gonal-F that we used last night does not have enough for tonight, so I'm gonna get 4 needles tonight, even though I'm like getting like 3 different medications because we have to use 2 different Gonal-F pens. So that's also kind of the beauty of it, but y'all need to see like this setup. It's ridiculous. So we just have like some of our educational materials here. These are my prenatals. These are our Z-Pack antibiotics. I take my vitamin D. I also take melatonin, but I don't take that till I go to bed because it makes me super sleepy. And then we have the Sharps container. We have this whole bucket with just like syringes, alcohol swabs, all the medication we keep in there. And then Ken's getting the Gonal-F secured. There's all the other like syringes and vials over there. Like this whole table is just
150?
150, yeah. This is crazy. Thank you. Ken's in the zone. Look at this setup we got. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, you can't really see me, but it's the day after Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh. My honey.
Hello.
And it's 6:40 in the morning, and we're already showered, dressed, out the door for our 7 a.m. appointment. I was thinking, like, theoretically, this could be our last 7 a.m. appointment. Maybe.
I hope so.
Could be. I had to, like, take inventory of all what we have left of the medication to talk to my nurse about, and then I might possibly get, like, a trigger date today, maybe, if we were to take the Avidrel, and then know, obviously, by nature of that, when my egg retrieval is going to be, possibly. I don't really know what to expect, and obviously, I mean, not that I don't want to like get my hopes up, but it doesn't really, I'm sorry, that's so dark, it doesn't really matter like too much if we have to do longer or not, but it should be this upcoming week. It should be within the next week or so. And then I also have my COVID test, another COVID test pretty much right after this appointment, within like 45 minutes after the appointment, in the same kind of area. So we are gonna be, and thankfully obviously Ken is off work today because of it being like the Thanksgiving holiday. I don't think we're gonna miss these super early appointments.
That's for sure.
Ken like hates this waking up early thing so much more than me. I mean, I love like the earlier wake up the better for me, honestly. I just feel like I get more of my day, and it's kind of a fun routine to like get up together. Obviously the shot, I honestly don't mind the shot, it's so tiny, and then we like leave the Christmas tree on in our room and just like hang out or read or whatever before we like get up and actually start the day, and it's kind of cozy and it's a fun little routine. And even the shots at night, like even though I don't enjoy those, especially now that I'm taking the Menopur, I like the routine of it, like just docking up and just like getting all set up and doing it. So even though, I mean, I know that's weird to say, but I feel like I'm gonna miss parts of this process. As strange as that sounds, I'm not gonna miss IVF, but you know what I mean? There's something about it. Maybe I'm just like finding the bright side of everything. Yeah, and I'm like finding the enjoyment in the, you know, stuff that we can't change or avoid. This morning's appointment is just blood work and ultrasound, and then a COVID test. But I was also thinking, I have like had no really, I feel like I haven't really been experiencing much of symptoms. I haven't really been getting much bloating. I am not having too much uncomfortability. Like I can definitely feel a little bit of heaviness in my ovary area, but like nothing crazy noticeable or super out of the ordinary. I know this is so dark and not good footage, but you get the idea. Wait, so the funny part was, the nurse comes to get me, because I have to have this conversation every time, but the nurse, like whatever random nurse, I don't know her, comes to get me to bring back to ultrasound. I'm like, oh, can I do my blood work first, like whatever, and they're always like, oh, okay. Like they always like want to hesitate and be like, well, and then they do. I guess it was doing blood work. Usually there's like, I feel like I was like a high level nurse, because she's an IVF nurse. There's usually like, you know, plebeian nurses doing that.
Plebeian nurse.
But she was doing the blood work. I think they just don't have a lot of people today. I think a lot of people took off because it was really quiet in there. Like there was nobody in there. It was really quiet. And there was different nurses working and people at the desk. Like I feel like they had like their subs in. Then I was like waiting outside the lab, and then she said whoever's next, and then I stood up and she like recognized me instantly, and she looks at me, she's like, do you want to lay down? She didn't even say anything. I just literally turned my head and she's like, do you want to lay down? And I was like, we've only met face to face, talked a lot, but we've only met face to face one time. Yeah. So it was just funny that she instantly recognized me and then instantly remembered that I'm a baby. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's okay. And then I went into right across the hall to the ultrasound, and the nurse was like, I don't recognize her, but she was like, oh, have you been with us? I'm like, yeah, for like a year, like I did IUIs, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I recognize your name. I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's like good or bad. Like I'm just like a household name in the IVF department or something. I'm not sure. Because apparently, but then she was kind of freaking me out because I was like, okay, so my bladder's like pretty full. Is that good? She's like, no. I'm like, I mean, I can pee. Like that's no problem. She's like, well, it'll be more comfortable for you. I'm like, well, don't worry about my comfortability. Like whatever's better for you. She's like, yeah, you can pee. But like, I feel like usually they tell you to get dressed, but she just like opened the door. So I just like wrapped the towel around me that I was sitting on and just walked to the bathroom that way. And I don't know if you're like supposed to or if it doesn't really matter because they already have you covered when you do the ultrasound so that you're not just, your legs are not just like all out there. They give you a big ass blanket. But she was like, okay, yeah, just across the hall. I'm like, and she didn't leave. I was like, okay. So I just put the towel around me, walked across the hall in my socks and like half naked from the waist down, went to the bathroom and then rewrapped it and came back. And then there's people standing in the hallway. I was like, hello. As I'm walking across in my socks and my thing. So I don't know if she was supposed to do that or, but then she was kind of like concerning me because she was like, oh yeah, where are the gloves in here? And then she was like taking the pictures. She's like, where's the button? And I was like, is it your first day? Like, what are you doing? But then she eventually, I didn't ask, but then she eventually, she's like, oh, I only work here like a couple times a month. I'm sure she works at another hospital or something like that. But obviously they were kind of short staffed. So then again, I don't know how she knew my name if she only works there a couple times a month. But
she's a subscriber.
Oh, his birthday is the day after mine. Or the day before mine. So now we bonded. So at first I was concerned about her, but then I was like, no. And then I was like, okay, so like, what are you looking for? She's like, well, as long as you like keep me busy, that's usually a good sign. Like she has a lot of pictures to take, I guess, or whatever. So I was like, okay. So then those pictures I sent you is obviously what she's taking pictures of. But obviously she's moving it all over. And I don't know, when I was like looking at it and she was telling me, I was like, this doesn't really sound like this is like that good. I must need more like stimulation. But then I should have peed. I have to pee again already. Dang it. But then she was like, I mean, you're keeping me busy. I think he's gonna be very pleased. And I was like, okay. She's the other IVS nurse. She's so cute. And I went to like write down something in my notebook. She's like, you and my daughter have the exact same handwriting. And you hold your pen the same way. And I'm like, oh, she must have great handwriting. But she was really adorable. So then she looks at the picture. She's like, ooh. I'm like, is that a good ooh? And she was like, yeah. She's like, I was like, I have a lot of medication left. Like, she's like, oh, well, you're not done. And I'm like, okay. But then she's like, okay, so you're taking your trigger shot tomorrow. Oh. For a Monday retrieval.
You're lying.
No.
Oh, jeez, okay. Wow.
Are you gonna cry?
No.
Okay,
but
good.
Wow. All right, let's go.
She was like, they're looking.
Wait, trigger shot tomorrow.
Yeah, and then 36 hours later.
Oh, I haven't gotten any instructions on how to do that.
We have pamphlets. Yeah. It's just the Avidrol. We already got it.
I know, but it didn't. I don't know where it goes and stuff.
There's papers. And she gave me like a sheet that says like what time. So, and I told her, I was like, I need the earliest appointment ever. She's like, that's what I gave you. I was like, oh, you're an angel. So I don't have to. I have to be there at 7 a.m. for an 8 a.m. retrieval.
Okay, well that's good.
So that's good. I won't be. And I was like, I'll just chug water until midnight. She's like, yeah, just do that.
Wait, then if your retrieval is Monday, don't I have to go in?
You come in with me, yeah. Save up for Monday.
Oh, okay.
Today's Friday.
I thought you said go give a sample tomorrow.
No. Yeah, you come with me, bring me up. We both come up together and everything. I'll go back. You go to the sample. But then the beauty of it will be, because she said, so if my retrieval's at 8, it's like about an hour. Like, you know, 20, 30 minutes for the retrieval. And then like, she said almost like an hour to recover from the anesthesia. And she said they give me a lot of snacks and food and Coke and candy and treats.
Oh, you better support it.
Nice. I think you're gonna probably be, you know, there for a while, so then you can go pick up the fresh transfer meds from the pharmacy, because I need to start taking those immediately. So you can just go pick those up while I'm in my thing. And then I think the good thing is, since you'll already be allowed up there and everything and in the room, I'm hoping you can at least like come like get me to like walk me out, because
yeah, I guess we'll see what they
let us
do.
Just 'cause I don't know how I'm gonna be feeling and everything.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, hell yeah.
That was the hint I was giving you, because if I have my COVID test today, that means I'm getting triggered. But then if not, but then I'm like, okay, but I have like a lot of Menopur left, like a lot. And she like seemed like that was weird, and she seemed concerned with. I told her how much is left, because I'm only taking Menopur. I'm like, tonight's normal, and then tomorrow morning is just Lupron in the morning, and then Avidril at night. So after today, we're done with all the medicine, which is a little annoying because we're gonna have a pen and a half of Gonal and 2 boxes of Menopur left.
No.
Which we paid for.
Whatever.
But she's like, obviously, you know, you're not exactly sure what your dosage is gonna be, which is maybe why it's kind of stupid, and maybe we should, like, they should tell you to not pick up your Menopur until you actually are about to take it, because we picked it up like a week early, because then they would have known what your dosage was, and they would have known how much you need to get.
Yeah.
You know?
But
She said with my protocol, I would usually need more stimulation. She said, but I'm just ready really, really early. Or really, she's like, you've responded extremely well. I was like, she's like, that's a good thing. I was like, okay. But she said, like, usually they trigger someone. I was like, is there any benefit to, like, waiting? She's like, no. Usually we wait to trigger people when they're at, like, I don't know, 17, whatever these numbers mean. She's like, you have, like, 4 that are over 21. So you're, like, more than ready.
Oh.
So apparently my shit's looking hella nice.
Let's go. All right. Ready? Well, so it's just tonight is normal, and then it's done.
This whole day is normal.
And then, okay.
And then Lupron like normal, and then Avidril at 8 p.m. because that's how the schedule is. She gave me this paper. So
8 p.m. Sunday.
No, tomorrow. Today's the 27th.
Okay.
So both of the Avidrils tomorrow at 8 p.m. Same time, because then 36 hours later.
2 syringes of it?
Yeah, that's why we have 2 boxes.
Uh-huh.
And it says subcutaneously, it doesn't say intramuscularly. So I think it's probably similar.
Okay, well, that would be good.
And then exactly 36 hours later. So we'll read this.
Arrive at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And then okay, yeah, because they gotta prep you. Okay, I was like, what? Jeez. Alright, well, it'll be over soon.
You cannot be released to Uber, taxi, or other driver services. Oh, so they're gonna actually check who's bringing me. She called you Kevin. Also, she's like, Kevin needs to ejaculate. I'm like, he does? Should I tell him? Are you gonna tell him? Who's Kevin?
It's like your grandma.
Okay, so that's the situation. I don't know, I'm happy, but I'm also like, don't like that we're wasting.
You can get rid.
I'd almost rather simulate longer just so I know that our money and our medicine is now. So is that exciting news? I was trying to surprise you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. COVID test number 2 is about to commence. Love it. Check out this massive, crazy drink that I got. Do you guys see this? It's huge and it is so stinking good. I've earned this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it is a Sunday, November 29th, and we did my trigger shot, my trigger shot last night. And I don't know why I didn't like vlog when we were doing that, because it's kind of a big deal. Even though we've done a bunch of IUIs, we never had to do the trigger shot before. We just did it based on like my normal, just like LH surge with the ovulation like predictor test strip things. So this is my first time doing the Avidril, and it's a little bit stressful. If y'all have ever done it, I'm sure you know. You have to take it like, well, at least when it's related to IVF. I don't know exactly if it works the same way with IUI. I would assume it's the same thing, but you have to take it at like the exact right like minute for everything to work. So we had to take it at exactly 8 p.m. last night because I have my retrieval at 8 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. And so like making sure that you like have everything ready and you're all set up, and there's 2 of them, at least for me. I don't know if there's always 2. There's 2 of them, so you have to like boom boom like back to back do both of the shots right at 8 o'clock. So it's just a little bit stressful, like staring at the clock, like waiting for it to be time to do it, and then making sure that you do them both really quickly. I mean, I'm sure it's not like that serious. Like if you do it a couple minutes before or after, I'm sure it's fine. But we obviously just wanted to be like as close on the money as we could, especially because the paperwork says like you need to do this exactly right. So we did that last night and it was totally fine. So as of this morning, we didn't have to wake up early. This was the first morning that we got to like not jump out of bed and rush around to get the Lupron and everything ready to go for like a 6 a.m. shot. So we got to sleep in a tiny bit, even though I still woke up at 5:30. So I think I might be on a little bit of a routine. Like I think my body might have adjusted to that at this point, because we've been getting up at 6 a.m. every single day, or before 6 a.m. every day, either for the shot or for an appointment or for both. So I think after like 2 weeks of doing that, my body may have adjusted to waking up earlier, which I'm totally fine with, but at least we didn't like have to like jump out of bed, and I didn't have to get a shot the first thing in the morning. So that was kind of nice. And today is a totally shot-free day, which is probably going to be one of the only days like that. Probably tomorrow will be too. Well, tomorrow I'll probably have to get some kind of IV or something. So I feel like this is like my only day without any needles being inserted into me for like the past 2 weeks. And then after my retrieval, I'm gonna have to be on a bunch of different fresh transfer meds. And because I'm on the microdose Lupron, I have to take the injectionable HCG. I'm gonna have the estrogen patch, the vaginal progesterone, and then the intramuscular. It's not just the shots that go in your stomach, like into your fat. It literally goes into your muscle, and that'll be in like my butt muscle. So that'll be interesting. I think we don't start that till a couple days, like a day or two after egg retrieval. And I'm obviously thankful to be done with the shots. I feel like Ken is honestly even more glad to be done with the shots than I am, because I think it just stressed him out a little bit having to like get them all ready. And I think he put a lot of like pressure on himself inevitably to make sure that he was doing them right and getting all the air out and measuring it properly. I mean, I just had to get them, which is obviously also not enjoyable, but it was a little bit of a stressful situation for him too. Plus just the routine of it was a little bit much, you know, having to make sure every single day, every morning, every night at the same times that we did all that. So it is kind of nice not having to, oh hey little girl. So today will be the first day without all of that stuff, which will be a nice little break. And I honestly didn't mind the shots. It was just the Menopur that really burned. It was obviously only burned for like 3 seconds, but that hurt a lot. Other than that, like I did not mind the shots. Like they didn't hurt, they didn't bother me. I didn't have like hardly any. What's up, girl? Wow, that was very athletic of you, Nago. She never does this except when I'm like sitting here for a long period of time with my computer not on my desk. Actually, she'll do it when my computer's on my desk too, but you just really want some love right now, so you jump all the way from the floor to the chair to here. Look at that beautiful face. You distracted me from what I was doing. Now go. Okay, we're just gonna clean. All right. So that's the status with that. I just am like way ahead of schedule for my protocol, and I have a little bit of a lower AMH level. So I guess I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. I guess a lot ahead of schedule, which is really obviously good. I'm gonna get my eggs retrieved a lot sooner, which means we can get a transfer a lot sooner and stop the shots a lot sooner. So it's really nice that we didn't have to do any of this for an extremely long time. I'm really thankful that my body responded really well. I actually sent the pictures of the, excuse me, my allergies are killing me. Oh, let me interrupt to say, I also got the results of I had my COVID test on a Friday, got the results yesterday, so it took only like a little over 24 hours, and I was negative again, so we did a good job quarantining, so I didn't obviously get COVID, and they don't have to cancel I can't even imagine if you get a positive, and I would have already had my egg retrieval scheduled, already been basically done with simulation, just to find out, actually, you're canceled, no retrieval, you're gonna have to re-stimulate in like a month or two, or I don't know how long you have to take a break or anything. Ken and I were talking about that last night. Like, I can't imagine how heartbreaking that would be to think that you're having your retrieval and your transfer like next week, just to find out actually you're not. It's not going to be for like months. So I'm just really glad we did what we did. We quarantined and stayed away from people, didn't go like into stores and everything, and we were just really safe, and it obviously paid off, so I'm really glad about that. But I took some pictures of my ultrasound pictures when they took the pictures of like my follicles, and I sent it to my sister-in-law because she's also done a lot of different fertility treatments, and so she has a lot of experience with that kind of stuff. So she like looked at them, she's like, oh my gosh, your follicles look great, your uterine lining looks great. Like, she's like a professional at reading these because she's gone through a lot of this similar stuff. So it was really funny when Ken texted like his sister and his parents. Everyone was like, go Shannon, about like me being so advanced in like growing my follicles or whatever. It was really cute. Everyone was like cheering me on, and obviously I'm not really doing anything other than, you know, taking the shots and my supplements and my vitamins, and I have been obviously chilling on the workouts, which has been so hard for me. We've just been taking walks every single day. That's like the only activity I've been doing, and it's hard not to just try to do the workouts and like maybe modify them or something, but just completely stop them. Oh my gosh, my hair. It has been really hard, but obviously, I mean, I don't know if I had done any of them, if it would have changed the results. Obviously, there's no way of knowing that, but I'm really glad that I did all the right things, because now I at least don't have to kick myself for, you know, if anything had gone differently. Anyway, My ovaries, however, were very, very heavy yesterday, like extremely heavy, and but not in a painful way, just like an uncomfortable, you know, if you've obviously done any kind of stimulation, you know exactly what I mean, but they just feel kind of heavy. It's funny because I looked at my estradiol, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, my doctor says it a different way, but that is one of obviously the main hormones that they measure when you're going through this whole process to see like how your eggs are developing and all that kind of stuff. And I looked at all the different blood work results over the last couple of weeks, and I know this is a super long clip, but I'm just updating. I looked at all the blood work from like the first day, like before I had started the simulation, just like the baseline blood work and ultrasound, and my estradiol, whatever you want to call it, was at like 15, whatever the measurement is. And then the next time I went, I think the next time I went, I had been stimulated for like 2 or 3 days. It went up to 250, so it went from 15 to 250, and then when I went on a Friday I looked at it, it's at like 2300. So in a matter of, I think only a week, I went from 15 to 2300, and obviously now it's probably even a little bit higher because I still had to take like 1 more day of medication after that. So it's pretty crazy to think that like this certain hormone of mine is like super surging like crazy, but I don't feel really any differently. Like I have not had any side effects other than like feeling a little bit of heaviness in like the ovary area. I have not had anything. Like I haven't really felt any extra emotionalness, if that's a word. I have not had any like bloating. I really haven't felt anything. I mean, I feel like I've had like days where I felt a little bit off without being able to really like put my finger on exactly what is off. Like I definitely haven't felt like 100,000%, but I felt perfectly fine, totally functioning, like not down for the count at all. And it's crazy to think that I have this hormone going crazy and I can't even tell. Obviously tomorrow might be a completely different story. I'm definitely gonna vlog a lot more like throughout the day tomorrow, hopefully, than I have been like every single day of this process, because every single day of this process, a lot of the days have not been much different than the one before. It's like shots in the morning, shots at night, sometimes a doctor's appointment, sometimes a COVID test, but like other than that, they've been fairly routine. Obviously tomorrow is going to be a lot different, so I'm of course a little bit like apprehensive and a little bit nervous about tomorrow, just because it's not like a surgery. I mean, I'm technically going to like the OR, so I think it's like kind of a surgery, only because I'm going to be sedated, which is just the only part that kind of freaks me out a little bit. I've only been sedated as far as I can remember once in like the recent history, and that was to get my wisdom teeth out, and that was years ago, and it actually didn't go super well. They ended up, because obviously they monitor your heart rate and everything during that, and I ended up having to go to the hospital, the emergency room, after my wisdom teeth surgery, because they noticed my heart was a little bit out of whack, like it wasn't really beating properly or something like that. So it wasn't like a big huge emergency. I wasn't like in an ambulance or anything like that, and I think it was a heart problem like that I already had, that they just noticed because I was on a heart like monitor. Can I help you? What are you doing? What are you doing? And it is only like a 20-minute procedure, and I'm only gonna be sedated for that long, so I'm not like too worried about that. But obviously Ken can't go with me like at all. I mean, he has to go up to the appointment with me. He can actually come in the office with me for like the first time in this whole entire process, because he has to give his sample, of course. So he's gonna come up just to like check in, and then he'll go do his sample, and then I'm gonna have him go pick up my fresh transfer medicine from the pharmacy while I'm getting prepped. I have to be there a whole hour before my procedure, I guess, to like get prepped and whatever they have to do. But I cannot eat or drink after midnight tonight, so I cannot drink any water, I cannot have any snacks, I can't do anything tomorrow morning before this. And thank God I have to be there at 7, so it's not like I'm gonna be sitting around all morning like not being able to eat or drink anything. But a lot of my like anxiety that I have related to like medical stuff and my fear of fainting and stuff like that has to do with like staying really hydrated. As long as I know that I'm hydrated, my mind is just at ease and my anxiety is a lot lower. And I typically like chug water before my blood work, before my ultrasounds, before anything, just so my anxiety is lower. And I know that probably doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's just how my brain works. So I typically just chug water, and I have to pee like crazy, but I chug a lot of water, and I can't tomorrow, which is the only thing kind of making me a little bit nervous. So I'm so thankful. I told them like, you need to give me the earliest appointment there is, or I'm not coming. Thankfully they did do that, and I was really appreciative. I have like the best nurses, the whole staff there. I've worked with all the different, I have like one specific IVF nurse, but I've spoken to and worked with all of them. I think all the ones that I've worked with have just been incredible. They're all so sweet, they're so friendly. Just the whole staff there is amazing. They're so accommodating. I always want to get my blood work done before my ultrasound, and they typically like to do it the other way. but I just tell them like I really would like to do my blood work first and just get out of the way because I hate that. So they're always really sweet and accommodating. They take me to lay down. They're really, really sweet and amazing there. So I was like, should I bring a snack? And they're like, no, they'll have snacks for you. So I'm sure afterwards I'll be taken care of, but I'm just a little bit apprehensive to be sedated and to not be able to have anything beforehand, but I know it'll be fine. And I've been strong enough to handle the rest of this process, so I know that I can handle this as well. I'm just like a little bit apprehensive, as I'm sure pretty much anybody is before like a surgery or any kind of like sedative procedure. It's just like not something that you're super excited about, but I am excited to have that part just like kind of out of the way, and we know that my follicles are looking really good, and I'm really, really hopeful for what the results will be. I think that it will be really, really good, and then we'll get Ken's sample done, we'll get the medication, we'll kind of just like kill a lot of birds with one stone tomorrow morning. I don't know how long I'm like gonna be there in total, because there's obviously recovery after the anesthesia, and I don't know if I'm gonna have any nausea. Obviously I have to like drink and eat and all that, and then Ken has to drive me home, of course. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm just really hoping that it goes super well. We get tons of eggs and then hopefully tons of embryos. I know obviously the days after the egg retrieval, like Ken's saying, oh, we're almost done, and like, yeah, the stimulation and like those shots are done, and soon, you know, by this time tomorrow the retrieval will be done. But like, I feel like that's kind of just the beginning, because then it's like the waiting process to see like, okay, by the next day, okay, how many eggs did you get? They're gonna like tell me how many eggs they got, and then a couple days after that, okay, how many fertilized, how many look like they're good quality, how many can we, you know, freeze, when is the transfer gonna be? Like, there's just so many like other things that are still to come in this process, and a lot of things that after this, like most of this is out of your control to a degree anyway, but once they get the eggs out, you know, it's just however many eggs they can get is however many they can get, and then however many fertilized is how many fertilized, and it's just a waiting game, and there's nothing we can do. We have like no control over this portion of it, especially. We just have to wait and see and hope and pray that everything goes really well, everything works out exactly how we would like to, and then obviously we have to hope and pray that we can get the, you know, transfer done, and hopefully of course it implants and sticks and doesn't like miscarry or anything like that, and then I actually like become pregnant and all that kind of stuff. So there's still obviously a lot of steps of this process left, and that's what's so crazy about it, is from the point when you start like getting tested and then get on the birth control and then get the stimulation and then get the retrieval and then get the transfer and then find out if you're pregnant. Like, it's a very long process, and there's just like a lot of waiting, and it's just involved. It really is. But I can truly say, and this is what I really want to get across in my different documentations of this process, and ultimately when I share this online on YouTube to share with my experience and my journey, I feel like for me especially, at least so far, it's really been completely manageable. Emotionally, physically, it's just, and maybe I've just gotten lucky, and maybe I've mentally prepared for this, and so it's going a little bit smoother. But I have like a huge phobia of needles, and that's like my #1 phobia, literally, like in the world, is needles. And I just did an IVF stimulation. I'm done with it, and I was fine, and I didn't pass out, I didn't die, I didn't have any negative issues. I did it. I just feel like this is a true testament to one of those things that you just don't know how strong you can be until being strong is the only choice you have. And this is just something we have to do if we want to have a family, and I don't have a choice, but I have to do this. I mean, we could not do this, you know, we could adopt and do whatever, but to have biological children, like, this is pretty much what we have to do, and I had to face my fears, and I can do it. And you don't know what you can mentally overcome until you just do it, until you just try to. And turns out mentally and physically I was a lot stronger than I ever thought I was. And if you would have ever told me like a year ago that I'd be able to go through this, I would have been like, you're crazy. I'm not getting 4 shots a day every day. I can't even get 1 shot without like losing my mind. So it's really amazing, and I'm just honestly truly proud of myself for how I've just like bucked up and just like done it and faced it. And I feel like mentally this has been so good for me. I feel like a lot of people, this is mentally and emotionally really hard, but for me, I think I've used it in a positive way, which is of course, I feel like for any struggle or challenge is the best thing you can do, because I feel like I faced my fears and now I've kind of overcome them. And that's a huge feat for me, and that mentally just makes me feel really empowered and really strong. And so for that, I'm really, really grateful for just this whole entire process. And I feel like, as odd as it is, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to learn so much and getting to know how this process works, getting to know my body. I feel like Ken and I have had like a bonding experience over all this and facing my fears and overcoming them. I don't know, I just feel like I'm so much more appreciative for assistive reproductive technology and just what the body can do and what science and medicine, it's all just really fascinating, and I'm truly thankful to have gone through this, as weird as that sounds. I'm getting a phone call, hold on. Oh, doing good, how are you? So coincidentally enough, that was my like pre-op phone call consultation. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was not like expecting that call, but it's just kind of funny that I was vlogging talking about this when she called. But so that was actually super, well, fairly informative. Just kind of gave me like a lowdown on what's gonna happen tomorrow. And it's actually very exciting. I didn't know they let you have a visitor during recovery. So as soon as I come out of the, you know, operating room and I'm coming out of the anesthesia, they'll be able to have Ken come in, which is so exciting. I was really afraid I was just gonna like be there alone, just like feeling potentially like crap and just be by myself. So I'm really glad he's gonna be able to be there. That like really honestly puts me a lot at ease. I kind of wish he could be there more so during like the the prep portion, like when I'm getting like kind of docked up and getting my IV and all that. So kind of would prefer him to be there for that, because I feel like that's going to be the more like stressful part. But of course the recovery will probably not be a ton of fun either. But she just kind of gave me a lowdown of when to come, where to go, what to expect. I asked her some questions about like how I can expect to be feeling. They said they'll give me like some pain meds, some nausea meds, antibiotics, all kinds of stuff through my IV. But she says some people feel like pretty good after they come out. Some people have some uncomfortable, like some cramping and some like uncomfortability from the procedure afterwards. So it just kind of depends how you're feeling. They'll give you medication. You can take Tylenol, ibuprofen at home and all kinds of stuff like that. So my battery's about to die, but I think I pretty much went over everything that I wanted to say. We're just really excited for tomorrow. It's not like over, the simulation is over, so I guess that's cool to have that checked off, but there's still a lot of different steps to come and all really exciting, but also, you know, a little bit nerve-wracking and a little bit like, it's nervous excitement, I think is what it is, because we just don't know what to expect, and we're just really hoping and praying for some really good results and really great news. Honestly, like we've had really, knock on wood, really great news with everything so far, and it's honestly been a really good experience, as weird as that is to say. And I'm really happy to report that I feel like a lot of people are obviously nervous and scared of IVF, which makes perfect sense, but so far I feel like it's been really a seamless process and it's gone really smoothly and without a hitch, and I'm just really thankful for how this whole experience has been so far, and I'm hoping that continues. So of course I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning. I was gonna say bright and early. It's not gonna be bright out, it's gonna be pitch black out, but super early to head in for this really big day. Oh, okay, maybe this doesn't work because I put my camera on my coffee cup. The other thing that I want to say, what I feel like I was finishing up saying at the end of the clip before I got that call, is just about like the mental component of this, and especially for me, like I feel like I was so apprehensive about the whole thing. But I think when it comes down to it, is like I feel like people say this all the time, but you can do hard things. Like you can do hard things and you can be okay, and they can go really well. And I actually found this like a quote, and I really love it now. It says, "I'm thankful for my struggle because without it I wouldn't have stumbled upon my strength." And I feel like that's really what's come out of this, is that this fertility struggle has forced me to stumble over and confront my strength, and that I can. And of course my battery died right as I was saying that, and I know I've probably been like rambling a bit and repeating myself, and I know probably like at the end of this process, whenever that time comes and I do you know, and more updates about how it's gone, I'll say this all again. But the main thing I want to get across is actually two things. One, you can do a lot more than you can think you can do. You can face a lot of struggles and you will find your strength in them. You will be so surprised with what you can physically and mentally handle. And that kind of brings me to my next point, is that I feel like you have to be a little bit careful about what you read and hear about certain experiences. And if you're watching this video, then you're probably searching for information and anecdotes and stories and experiences of how it's been for other people going through IVF or IUI or any of the things that you might be experiencing. And I think you just have to be a little bit careful hearing other people's experiences, because of course every single person's is unique, every single person's is different. Some people have an easier time, some people have a harder time, and when it comes to fertility stuff, there's 100,000 reasons that you can be having fertility problems. You know, it could be, like in our case, like a male factor in fertility, which in my opinion seems, at least in our case, it's a really minimal problem. If that's, I don't know if that's like the right way to say it, but thankfully, like, that's what our problem is. But of course there could be, you know, different issues with men. There could be like serious morphology problems. You know, there's a million things that could be wrong. And then with the female, of course, I feel like there's a bajillion more things that can go wrong between hormone issues and, you know, physical issues, whether with the tubes, the uterine, the ovaries, the eggs. There's just so many things that can be the problem that IVF can be the answer for too. And of course, when it comes to more like female related IVF problems, you might need completely different medication. There could be such a different experience for every single woman or man, depending on what your treatment is for what you're going through. But I think the moral of the story here is that I've watched some other IVF vloggers, and Leanne Says in particular is who I've watched, and I've seen other stories of women, you know, having all kinds of experiences. And at the end of the day, yours is gonna be yours. And I think it's important not to like psych yourself out or freak yourself out based on other people's experiences. Like, I haven't had any of the issues. For example, like Leanne Says, she's the one I've watched like every single step of the way, and she started doing IVF before IVF was even a consideration for us, before it was even on the table. We didn't even know we were gonna have to do it when I started watching her. So it just kind of so happened I was getting informed and a perspective on the experiences before I even know I was gonna have my own experience. And she had a lot of issues with birth control, a lot of issues with the stimulation. She had a completely different experience than I'm having. I haven't had a single bit of bloating, like maybe a tiny bit, but no different than like with your period or something, like very minimal bloating. I haven't felt really any kind of like, I haven't had any bad days where I just feel like crap, or I just don't feel like I can do anything. I don't feel motivated. I haven't had that problem. I have like maybe a little bit of bruising on my belly from where the shots were going in, but like I don't have any pain or discomfort. And even like my ovaries, like I said, they feel a tiny bit heavy, but like they don't hurt, and I don't really notice it all the time. So, and of course, I don't know how my egg retrieval is gonna go. She actually was hyperstimulated, so she had a really poor experience after her second egg retrieval and had to go to the emergency, or well, she should have gone to the emergency room, but she had some really serious complications after her egg retrieval. And of course, that's a possibility as well. And God willing, I will not have that problem. And I'm hoping and praying that everything goes really smoothly. So you just have to take everything with a grain of salt, including my experience. I could have a much better and smoother experience than a lot of other people, and some people might have it even easier than me. Who really knows? And of course, people can have it way worse. So I think it's just those two things are important to think about. You have to be careful and kind of temper your expectations of how you're gonna feel, and just be open to the fact that however you're gonna feel is how you're gonna feel. And this is all just a series of moments, right? Moments come and moments go pretty quickly, and that's what this is. This is just a series of moments that are gonna come and go, and they're gonna be so worth it, and you're gonna have hopefully a family, and it's gonna be amazing. And before you know it, you're not even gonna be thinking about it. It's just gonna be a blip on the radar in your past, and your future is gonna be so much brighter and more exciting because you endured these, you know, trivial moments that build up to something bigger and better. And you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And don't psych yourself out about it. You'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Maybe, you know, won't be as good as you hope. Maybe it won't be as bad as you think. You just have to be super open to the fact that you're just gonna, you know, weather the storm, and you're gonna be okay. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It's not always gonna be comfortable. It's definitely not always gonna be fun, but you're gonna get through it. You can do way more than you think you can do, and it's best if you just don't have expectations for how you're gonna feel, how it's gonna be. Just be open to it, and don't expect that your experience will be the same as anyone else's, because it won't. It'll be yours. And that's kind of what's unique and amazing and exciting about all this stuff. So that's my huge monologue. I know this morning I've been talking to the camera for a very long time, but I just had a lot of thoughts, a lot to unload, a lot to share, and I've been vlogging this process, I mean, for years at this point, but more recently, like for weeks, and I kind of, like, it's been little snippets here and there over the past couple weeks, so I honestly don't even remember half the stuff I said or what I've shared, but I just wanted to kind of give an update on how it's been so far now that my stimulation is like officially come to a close. I wanted to share just my stimulation experience. I guess that's kind of what this little clip here is just kind of a summary of how the stimulation has gone, which for me personally has been basically flawless and super easy, and as odd as it sounds, kind of enjoyable. I don't know, the routine of it, the waking up, I found a lot of peace in the whole experience, and I'm religious for sure, and I just think God has really like put it in my heart to just have peace with the situation, and that has really helped me get through it. So I definitely also believe, if you believe in something, whatever it may be, just work with that being that you believe in, and I think that will also really help you come to terms with what's going on, be at peace with it, and just kind of take it as it comes. And that's what I've done, and I think a big part of how positive my experience has been because of that. Also because I have a great team of doctors and nurses and a great husband to support me, and because of me, honestly. Like, I have to give myself some credit. My attitude, my mentality about the whole thing has been extremely positive, and I've just overcome a lot of what my brain would have naturally told me to be anxious or nervous or trepidatious of, and been like, no, I'm gonna be the one that decides how I feel about this, and I did. So I feel like that's a long-winded way of saying something pretty simple, but I wanted to just share how my stimulation went, and it was great. And I think if you're going through stimulation, don't be scared of it. You will be okay. If shots are not fun for anybody, but they're, you know, a means to an end, and you'll be okay. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for my egg retrieval.